Hello everyone, it is day 4 of my summer art journal and I'm going to apologize in advance. This video does get a little long, it's about 20 minutes, but kind of go through quite a bit of steps for this journal entry. So you can see here, step 1, I'm creating the decal that I'm going to be using for part of my art journal. It says Adventure Awaits. So that's what I'm creating it using my Silhouette Cameo 3, which is a great machine, just to create different decals or different things that you want for your project or any type of artwork. Next here you can see that I'm peeling away and prepping the decal for my image. I'm just removing the spaces that I want to be negative, and I'm going to transfer this to transfer tape after everything is cleaned up. As you see here, I'm attaching transfer tape to the front of it so that when it's used to transfer to another sheet of paper. I'm sure you all have seen decals like this before. I'm just actually making mine instead of purchasing it from another company. Right here you can see I'm going through with the end of a brush and just making sure that it's adhering to the tape fine. The next step, step 4, I'm creating a background that's going to be the color of my text, Adventure Awaits. So this is just the first step. I'm using Ranger Distress Oxide inks, and they're reactive with water, which it's a really cool technique, and it almost gives a tie-dye feel. So these inks are very versatile in creating backgrounds for a number of different artworks. I'm just drying it off a bit because I didn't want it wet before I stuck down my transfer. So now you see here I'm peeling it back, it's stuck to the transfer tape, and I'm just making sure that the letters are now sticking to the paper, again using the tip of the brush to get it adhered correctly. And you peel it off, and now going back through the brush, I just want to make sure that my lines are crisp when I go back later and peel these stickers off. So that's why I went back over it with a brush. Now I'm just taking and I'm applying the Distress inks directly to my plastic work surface, a number of different colors. Be sure not to mix the colors on the palette. You want to keep them separate because you could damage the inks. So now I'm just sprayed it with water and mopping it up with my sketchbook to create a different type of background and just get some different color on there. I was having difficulty really getting the ink to get in between the letters, so you'll see here in a minute I actually go back through and I'm going to clean up my work surface first, but then I'll go back through and I'm going to add ink directly to the paper, which you can do too. There's a number of ways to apply this ink. So I wanted the letters to really pop out, so I wanted the blue over the top completely so the bright yellow letters will come through and really pop once I peel that transfer up. Added a little water to get the Distress Oxide to work. Now I'm just going to add a few more colors to my plastic sheet and get it wet. And again, mop up the color with my paper. This can be a messy process, but it's really fun and you can achieve great results. Now I'm going to go back through and just apply directly to the paper again with my ink pads to get a little bit more color. Had some difficulty in the crease of the book, so just going back in by hand and adding the color to the surface. With a paper towel you can use, I also use a dabber to blend it a little bit more too. The little dabbers work great. I'm applying more water to the surface to activate the ink. I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more pink hues to this, just to the edge in here. I'm going to fill in some of the white areas with, I think it was a rosy cheek color Distress Oxide. I'm not 100% sure on the name of the color, but now adding a little bit more spritz of water. I have distilled water in a little spritz bottle. You can use tap water if you don't have distilled water. I just found that distilled water lasts a little longer in my spray bottle. I don't have to worry about it getting mildewy. So you see here I'm kind of dabbing and blowing to dry up my surface for the background. Once it's dry, I started to peel back my transfer. You can see how that yellow really pops off that blue. I did have a little bit of an issue here when I was peeling some of these letters. The paper started to come up a little bit and started to tear here. It wasn't a big issue for me. I was able to go back in, you'll see in a bit, and fix that up, but I think that happened because I was working a little too fast and I didn't wait long enough for my paper to actually dry completely before I stuck that transfer on. I do also think I probably didn't need to go and push on it once again with the brush because it was really stuck on there, but I just was worried about getting a crisp line when I brought the ink back over the top, so that's why I did that. So you see here now I'm going back in with a Q-tip and I'm just filling in with some color to cover up some of the white that ripped. Spritzing it with a little water and dabbing the excess away. And there's you have it. The background is complete. Now, I decided I was going to bring nature into this project, and I went and I picked a few leaves from outside, and I'm painting using, it's an acrylic gold paint over the leaves. And I am just using them like, just pressing them in like printmaking, and it actually worked a lot better than I anticipated, and I got a really good transfer relief with those leaves. And so I found some pine needles. I'm doing the same thing, putting in the gold paint, transferring it over. Out of all of the leaves, the pine needles I felt were a little bit more difficult to use. Didn't really like how they looked. I do go back in and try to fix that up a little bit, but I picked a variety of leaves and to get different sizes and textures and create this fun background. It's kind of a messy process, but it's definitely fun. I think this leaf technique I will probably do a project with Taylor, my 6-year-old daughter, in the future. I think she would get a kick out of painting leaves and creating art with them. So you see here I'm going back in with those pine needles. I'm trying to fix that up a bit, and I wanted to add a little bit of a stem to the end, so I dipped the stem in and tried to add that here. So there you have it with the gold leaf added to the top of the background. Now here, this is a different piece of paper. I end up ripping around the paper and just adding a few more leaves to this to give a little bit of a relief. And you'll see what I do with this. This is the sheet of paper that I'm going to add my quote to. So I just painted a couple more leaves and just did a couple prints. Now here I'm adding my quote. It's a quote by Henry David Thoreau, and it says, "Live in each season as it passes, breathe the air, drink the drink, taste the fruit, and resign yourself to the influences of the earth." And I thought this was kind of fitting for the theme that I wanted for my nature page today, so that's why I chose that one. I had a little bit of difficulty with that Sharpie marker, but I just switched it out, and there you have it. Now this is just the last step. This is assembling I use Yes paste. It's a thicker paste, but it's great for mixed media work. So just sit back and watch me create and assemble the final work.